The Vanishing Lighthouse, beacon of the lost. On the edge of a jagged cliff overlooking the restless sea stood Ravenous Point Lighthouse. Built in 1876, it was meant to guide sailors through the treacherous waters below. The lighthouse had a dark history shrouded in tragedy and whispers. Ships continued to wreck on the rocks, their crews lost without a trace. Locals believed the lighthouse was cursed, its light a beacon for the damned. They spoke of a phantom glow flickering even when the tower was abandoned. A glow that called to sailors, leading them to watery graves. No one dared to visit Ravenous Point after sunset, when the light appeared. A ghostly beam that swept the sea, searching for souls to claim. Yet the most unsettling legend was the tale of the lighthouse keepers. 3 men were stationed there in 1900, tasked with keeping the light burning. One stormy night, they vanished without a trace, leaving the lighthouse empty. Their logbook was found, the final entry scrawled in frantic handwriting. The test calling to us from the sea, it knows our names. No bodies were recovered, only shadows etched into the walls. Shadows that moved when no one was watching, whispering in the dark. The disappearances continued over the decades. In 1932, a sailor seeking shelter during a storm was never seen again. In 1954, a researcher investigating the lighthouse vanished without a word. Each time, the light was seen sweeping the sea, flickering unnaturally. They said it was searching for someone to take its place. Something ancient and hungry bound to the lighthouse for eternity. People began to avoid Ravenous Point, leaving it to crumble on the cliff. The sea gnawed at the rocks, waves crashing against the stones below. But the light never went out, even after the power was cut. It glowed cold and pale, a beacon for the lost and forgotten. In 1987, historian Margaret Doyle decided to solve the mystery. She was drawn to the lighthouse, fascinated by its haunted past. Ignoring the warnings, she journeyed to Ravenous Point alone. The air grew colder as she approached, salt and decay filling her lungs. The lighthouse stood tall and silent, its walls cracked and worn. Yet the light was on, sweeping the horizon with a ghostly glow. Margaret climbed the spiral stairs, her footsteps echoing off the stone. Dust choked the air, the walls covered in faded shadows. At the top she found the lantern room, glass shattered and rusted. But the light burned brightly, fueled by nothing she could see. It flickered as she stepped closer, shadows swirling around it. Voices whispered through the air, cold and hollow, calling her name. Margaret froze, the voices familiar yet distorted, like echoes of her past. Faces appeared in the glass, faces she knew, faces long dead. Her father, her sister, friends she'd lost over the years. They smiled at her, eyes empty, mouths moving in silent pleas. The light flickered faster, drawing her closer, her name echoing endlessly. She reached out, fingers brushing the cold glass, shadows coiling around her. Pain shot through her body as the light consumed her, burning cold as ice. The last thing she saw was her own face, staring back from the lantern. Hollow and empty, her eyes glowing with ghostly light. When rescuers arrived, the lighthouse was silent, the light extinguished. Margaret was gone, her notebook lying open on the floor. The final words were scrawled messily, her handwriting shaking. It knows my name, it remembers, and now I am part of the light. Since then, the light has glowed brighter, sweeping the sea restlessly. Sailors say they hear voices on the wind, crying out for help. Voices that sound eerily familiar, like echoes of loved ones lost at sea. The light searches endlessly, never satisfied, never still. Locals believe Margaret's soul is trapped within the lantern. Down to the lighthouse, calling out to those who remember her name. In 2085, the light will call again, reaching out for new souls. Will anyone dare to answer, or will they, too, vanish without a trace? Would you follow the light to uncover the truth or run from its ghostly glow? Subscribe for more haunting legends and chilling mysteries.